You think you have your own voice, your own way of moving, your own laugh, your own particular way of saying things. A self that's fixed and yours and consistent wherever you go. Then you spend a weekend with an old friend, and you drive home and catch yourself using a phrase that's theirs, not yours. You spend a few months in a new city, and your accent has quietly drifted. You sit across from someone who leans back, and a moment later, without deciding to, you've leaned back too. You're with a fast talker, and you speed up. With a calm one, and you slow down. You are constantly, without any awareness of it at all, becoming a little bit like whoever you're with. This is the psychology of mimicry, the chameleon effect. The relentless, invisible, completely automatic way your brain copies the people around you. Their posture, their gestures, their words, their accent, their rhythm of speech. Even their moods, their energy, the very expression on their face. You do it all day, every day, to nearly everyone you meet, and you almost never notice it happening. It runs entirely beneath your awareness, like breathing. Once you start watching for it, you'll see it everywhere, and it's a little uncanny. Two friends at a cafe table, unconsciously holding their coffee cups at the same angle. A child who's picked up a parent's exact gesture, the same tilt of the head, the same way of laughing. The way a whole friend group somehow ends up with the same speech tics, the same favorite words, the same in-jokes that become a private language. The way you can sometimes guess who someone spends their time with just by how they talk and carry themselves. None of these people decided to become alike. They simply spent time near each other, and the copying did the rest, quietly, automatically, the way water takes the shape of whatever holds it. And here's what makes it more than a quirk. This constant, unconscious copying is not random, and it is not meaningless. It's one of the most important social tools you own. The hidden mechanism behind connection, rapport, trust, and belonging itself. And by the end of this, you're going to understand not just that you do it, but why it matters enormously who you do it with. Because the people you spend your time around are not just company. Through this silent copying, they are quietly, continuously reshaping who you are. You are becoming them, and you get almost no say in it, except for one choice, which turns out to be one of the most important choices of your life. So let's peel this apart, layer by layer, because mimicry goes deeper than you think, and each layer reveals more about what's really going on. The first layer is the body, your posture, your gestures, your physical mannerisms. Watch two people in conversation who are getting along, and you'll see it. One crosses their legs, and a moment later, so does the other. One leans in, the other leans in. One touches their face, and soon the other does too. They fall into a kind of physical synchrony, mirroring each other's movements with a delay of a second or two, completely unaware they're doing it. Researchers demonstrated this directly. When a person subtly rubbed their face or shook their foot during a conversation, the other person started doing the same thing more, without any idea they were being influenced. Your body copies other bodies, automatically, constantly. It's the foundation everything else is built on. And the reason it's so automatic reveals something deep about how your brain is built. In your brain, perceiving an action and performing it are not as separate as they feel. When you watch someone make a movement, the very same circuits involved in making that movement yourself quietly light up, as if you were doing it too. Seeing a behavior and doing a behavior share machinery. So merely perceiving someone lean in, or smile, or cross their arms partially activates the program for you to do the same thing. And unless something stops it, that activation spills over into actual movement. This is called the perception-behavior link. And it means mimicry isn't really a thing your brain chooses to do. It's closer to a thing your brain has to actively suppress not to do. Copying is the default. Watching another person is already, faintly, halfway to becoming them. You're not imitating on purpose. You're failing to inhibit an imitation that your brain started the instant you laid eyes on someone. The second layer is speech, and this one is even more pervasive. When you talk to someone, you don't just exchange words. You unconsciously converge toward how they talk. Your accent shifts, just slightly, toward theirs. Your vocabulary starts borrowing their words and phrases. Your speaking rate, your pitch, even the rhythm of your sentences drift to match. This is why you pick up the slang of a new friend group, why you come home from a trip with a faint trace of a regional accent, why couples who've been together for years start to sound uncannily alike. You are not deciding to talk like the people around you. Your brain is doing it on its own, tuning your voice toward theirs, like two instruments slowly coming into the same key. The closer you feel to someone, the stronger the pull, until your speech and theirs are practically playing the same note. The third layer is the strangest and the most automatic of all: emotions and expressions. When someone smiles at you, your face starts to smile before you've decided to. When you're with an anxious person, you begin to feel anxious. With a calm person, you settle. You catch other people's moods the way you catch a cold, through sheer proximity. And the clearest, silliest proof of this is the yawn. Someone yawns, and you yawn. Even reading the word, even just thinking about it, can do it. You can't help it. That helpless, contagious yawn is mimicry in its purest form. Your brain copying another body's behavior automatically, with no conscious permission and no possible benefit, simply because copying is what it does. And this emotional layer has a hidden subtlety worth pausing on. When your face copies someone else's expression, when you unconsciously mirror their smile or their frown, that copied expression actually feeds back and shifts how you feel. Make your face do happiness, even faintly, even without meaning to, and a trace of the feeling follows. So when you mirror a smiling person, you don't just look a little happier, you start to feel a little happier, because your own copied expression loops back into your own emotions. This is part of how moods spread between people so efficiently. You catch the expression first, automatically, and the expression pulls the feeling along behind it. It means the people around you aren't just influencing how you act. Through this loop, they're quietly tuning how you actually feel, from the inside, all day long, simply by being faces you can't help but copy. Now step back and look at all three layers together: body, speech, emotion. And ask the obvious question: why? Why is your brain built to constantly, automatically copy everyone around you? What is all this mirroring actually for? And here's the answer, the thing all the layers are pointing at. Mimicry is the glue of human connection. It is, quite literally, how bonds get built between people, beneath the level of words. Think about what happens when two people mirror each other. They feel, without knowing why, that they click, that there's a connection, that they get each other. Because matching someone's posture, speech, and energy sends a constant, silent signal. I am like you. We're the same. We belong together. And your brain reads that signal, in yourself and in others, as the deep mark of kinship and safety. This is why mimicry and liking are so tightly linked. The research is striking. When someone subtly mimics you in a conversation, you end up liking them more, trusting them more, and even being more helpful and generous toward them afterward, all without any idea that the mimicry happened. A waiter who repeats your order back in your exact words gets bigger tips. A negotiator who subtly mirrors their counterpart reaches better deals. The mirroring builds rapport silently, and rapport is the soil everything else grows in. And it runs the other direction too. You mimic more when you want to connect. When you're trying to fit in, to be liked, to belong to a group, your unconscious copying ramps up. You absorb the group's slang, their style, their mannerisms, because some deep part of you knows that becoming like them is how you get accepted by them. Mimicry is your brain's belonging strategy, running automatically, all the time, trying to weave you into the people around you so that you'll be one of them, safe inside the group. And here's a detail that proves just how much this is about belonging rather than mere copying. You don't mimic everyone equally. You mimic, far more, the people you want to be connected to, the people whose group you want to join, the people you admire or whose approval you seek. And you mimic far less, or not at all, the people you see as outsiders, as not your kind. In some cases, your brain even does the opposite. It actively differentiates you from people you don't want to be associated with, making you subtly unlike them on purpose. The copying tracks your sense of who's us and who's them. It's not a dumb mirror reflecting whoever's nearest. It's a social instrument, pulling you toward the people you want to belong with and pushing you away from the ones you don't. There's a status dimension too. We tend to mimic upward, to unconsciously copy the speech, mannerisms, and style of people we see as higher status, more admired, more central to the group we want into. It's why a trend can ripple outward from a few influential people through an entire culture, each person unconsciously copying the ones just above them, the imitation cascading down the whole ladder. You absorb most from the people you most want to be like, which is a beautiful thing if you've chosen well, and a quietly corrosive one if the people you've placed at the top of your own ladder aren't worth becoming. Let me show you how this plays out, because once you see it, you'll catch it everywhere in your own life. Take friendship. Listen to a tight friend group and you'll hear it. They have their own words, their own phrases, their own rhythm, a shared dialect that grew up between them through years of mutual copying. You sound like your friends. Your laugh has probably borrowed something from someone you love. The way you text, the expressions you use, the references you make. A huge amount of it was absorbed, unconsciously, from the people you've been closest to. Your personality is, in part, a collage of the people you've spent the most time with. Pull any thread of how you talk, or move, or react, and you can often trace it back to a specific person who first did it near you, long enough for it to stick. Take romance. Couples don't just grow alike in their opinions, they converge in their speech, their gestures, even their facial expressions, until after many years they can seem to mirror each other completely. The merging is real, and it happens through this same silent mechanism. Two people slowly tuning toward each other until they move and sound like a matched set. The bond you can feel between two people who've been together forever is, in part, the visible result of decades of mutual mimicry. There's even a striking finding that long-married couples can grow to physically resemble each other over the years, partly because a lifetime of unconsciously mirroring the same expressions, the same smiles and frowns, slowly etches the same lines into two different faces. You don't just end up sounding like the person you love, you can end up wearing a face shaped by all the years of copying theirs. Take work. Spend enough time in any workplace and you'll absorb its language, the jargon, the in-jokes, the particular way that office talks. New employees mimic their way into belonging, picking up the tribe's speech patterns until they sound like they've always been there, often using words on the job that they would never have used a month earlier and can't quite remember adopting. And take travel, where it's most obvious of all. Go somewhere with a strong accent and feel your own mouth start to drift toward it within days, sometimes to your own embarrassment, as your brain helplessly tries to tune you to the people around you. You might even catch yourself doing it on a phone call with someone from elsewhere, your accent sliding toward theirs mid-conversation, completely without permission, your brain reaching for sameness the instant it hears difference. Every one of these is the same force, the automatic, unconscious copying that quietly stitches you to whoever you spend your time with. Which brings us to the twist. and it should change how you think about your own life. You might assume that all this copying makes you less yourself, that mimicking the people around you turns you into a follower, a chameleon with no real core. But the truth is far stranger and far more important. Mimicry isn't erasing you, it's building you. Because if you are constantly, unconsciously absorbing the speech, mannerisms, emotions, and energy of the people around you, then those people are, quite literally, becoming part of who you are. You are not a fixed self moving through a world of separate others. You are a sponge, continuously soaking up the people you're surrounded by, becoming a living, ever-changing blend of them, which means something profound. You become like the people you spend time with. Not metaphorically, actually. Their habits of speech become your speech. Their mannerisms become your mannerisms. Their moods become your baseline mood. Their attitudes, their energy, their way of seeing the world seep into you through 10,000 tiny unconscious imitations, until a real part of who you are is just an average of who they are. You are, to a meaningful degree, the people you surround yourself with. There's an old saying that you're the average of the people you spend the most time with, and people usually take it as a vague motivational slogan. It isn't vague at all. It's a mechanical description of what mimicry actually does to you. Your sense of what's normal, how much to complain, how hard to work, how to treat strangers, what to find funny, what to be outraged by, how big to dream, is calibrated constantly against the people around you. Spend time among people who treat ambition as normal, and your own ambition quietly recalibrates upward. Spend time among people for whom bitterness is the default, and your baseline drifts toward bitterness no matter how you started. You don't even register it happening because the new normal feels like your own opinion, your own personality, your own taste, when really it's the slow sediment of everyone you've been absorbing. We like to think our character comes from inside us. A startling amount of it leaked in from the people standing closest. And here's why that matters more than almost anything. You cannot stop the copying. It's automatic, unconscious, running every moment you're around other humans. You will absorb the people near you whether you want to or not. So the one real choice you have, and it's an enormous one, is not whether to be shaped by others, but who you let close enough to do the shaping. You don't get to choose whether you become like the people around you. You only get to choose who those people are. That single choice, who you spend your time with, is, through this invisible mechanism, one of the most powerful forces shaping the person you'll become. Surround yourself with calm, kind, ambitious, generous people, and you will, slowly and unconsciously, become calmer, kinder, more ambitious, more generous, because you're absorbing them every day. Surround yourself with anxious, bitter, cruel, or stagnant people, and that seeps in just as surely, just as invisibly. You are not choosing your traits directly. You're choosing the people whose traits will leak into you. And that may be the most important lever you have over who you turn out to be. So what do you actually do with this? The first and most important thing is to choose your circle on purpose, knowing what it really is. The people you spend the most time with are not just your companions. They are, through this constant mimicry, the raw material of your future self. So choose them the way you'd choose anything that's going to reshape you. Ask of the people in your life, do I want to become more like this person? Because, like it or not, you will. Spend time around people you admire, who carry the qualities you want to grow, and let the copying do its quiet work in your favor. And be honest about the relationships that are pulling you toward a version of yourself you don't want to be, because that pull is real, and it's happening whether you notice it or not. Here's a way to actually use this. Look at the handful of people you spend the most time with, not the people you admire from afar, but the ones you're actually around week after week. Those are the people you are becoming. So ask, honestly, are these the traits I want seeping into me? the way they talk about other people, the things they get excited about, the way they handle stress, what they expect from life. All of it is slowly transferring into you. This isn't about coldly cutting people off. Relationships are about far more than self-optimization, and loyalty and love matter enormously. But it is about being awake to the fact that proximity is influence. If you want to change something about yourself, one of the most powerful and most overlooked moves is to change who you're around, to spend more time near people who already embody the thing you're reaching for. You will absorb it, the same way you absorbed everything else, without even trying. Willpower is exhausting and unreliable. Mimicry is automatic and relentless. Point it in the right direction by choosing the right room, and it will do for you, effortlessly, what willpower struggles to do at all. The second thing is to notice what you're catching, especially the emotions. Since you absorb other people's moods automatically, you can get quietly poisoned by spending time around chronic negativity, or quietly lifted by spending it around warmth and energy. When you leave certain people feeling drained, anxious, or smaller, that's often emotional mimicry. You caught their state. Naming it gives you a little protection. You can consciously decide not to let a particular mood seep all the way in, and you can seek out the people whose energy you actually want to carry. And the third thing is gentler, and it's about using this knowledge with others. Genuine, subtle attunement to the people you're with, matching their energy, meeting their rhythm, is how real rapport gets built, and it can be done with warmth and honesty rather than as a manipulation trick. When you want to connect with someone, slowing down to actually meet them where they are, letting yourself naturally sink to them, is one of the oldest and truest ways humans say, "I'm with you." You don't have to fake it. You just have to be present enough to let the natural mirroring happen. It's worth knowing the difference between this and manipulation, because the line matters. Forced, calculated mimicry, deliberately copying someone's gestures as a trick to extract something from them, tends to backfire, because people can sense when mirroring is mechanical and insincere, and it reads as creepy rather than warm. The kind that builds real connection isn't a technique you apply to someone. It's what happens naturally when you're genuinely paying attention to another person and genuinely care about the exchange. The mirroring flows on its own when the interest is real. So the practical advice isn't learn to copy people. It's be truly present with people and let your brain do what it already knows how to do. The attunement that creates trust can't be faked into existence, but it appears reliably, all by itself, the moment you actually show up for someone. Because here is the truth underneath all of it. You are not a sealed, separate, fixed self. You are porous, constantly being written by the people around you, absorbing them through 1,000 imitations you'll never consciously notice. That can be frightening, or it can be the most hopeful thing in the world, because it means you are never finished, never stuck, always capable of becoming more like the people who bring out your best. You can't stop becoming like those around you, but you can choose, with great care, who that's going to be. Choose the people, because in the quietest and most powerful way, the people become you. And there's something freeing in finally seeing this clearly. So much of who you are was never a conscious decision. It was absorbed, inherited from whoever happened to be standing close at each stage of your life. Which means you were never as fixed as you believed, and you aren't fixed now. The same mechanism that shaped you can reshape you. Put yourself among different people, and a different version of you slowly emerges, without force, without struggle, just through the same quiet copying that built the current one. You are not stuck with the self you've got. You are an ongoing collaboration between you and everyone you let close. And you hold the most important vote, which is deciding who gets to be in the room. Most people never realize they have that vote at all. Now you do. So cast it deliberately, again and again, every time you choose whose company to keep. Now here's something to carry into the next one. This copying instinct that gently bonds two people and stitches a friend group together is mostly a beautiful thing at the scale of a few people. But it does not stay gentle when it scales up. Because the same unconscious force that makes you pick up a friend's accent, the pull to move and feel as one with the people around you, becomes something far more powerful and far more dangerous when it's not one person, but a crowd. When hundreds of people are all moving, shouting, feeling as one, that mimicry instinct can swell into something that overrides your own judgment entirely and make a good, decent person do things they would never, ever do alone. Why a crowd makes smart people do things they'd never do alone is the next thing we need to talk about. For now, I want one honest confession. Whose speech, whose laugh, whose phrases or mannerisms have you caught yourself copying? Think about it. The friend whose word you can't stop using. The person whose accent rubbed off on you. The partner you've started to sound like. Name the person whose way of being has seeped into you the most. Because that person is, in a small but real way, now part of you. Woven into how you talk and move and feel. And that's either a wonderful thing or a quiet warning, depending entirely on who you chose to keep close.